Hey guys, it's Justin again. I was going to do a channel update and kind of talk about my second year in the hobby. But that kind of, I don't know, changed my mind. Uh, I wanted to instead talk about something that has, I guess, recently come up and been bothering a couple of people. I haven't noticed a lot of it, but I've noticed a little bit here and there. Um, this is sort of a video response, if you will, to Dave, or you could even say to Joe's Gunpla. I decided I was going to do this when I saw Dave's video, but I saw Joe did one, so I decided I was actually going to do this rather than say that I was going to do it and then forget about it later. There's a lot of people that feel passionate about this, I guess. And the topic at hand is snap fitting model kits versus painting and completing model kits. Where I stand, how I feel about it, and then all the things that are involved in this debate. So basically, in one of the newer episodes of the Gundam Build Fighters series, if you guys have been watching it, I've really been enjoying it so far. But not this week's episode, but last week's episode, there was a character who was fighting using a snap-fitted Destiny Gundam. And even when he was shown prior to his actual appearance and introduction to the series, you saw him with this Destiny Gundam, and everybody was just kind of like, "Whoa, what's this guy? What's so special about this Destiny Gundam? It looks like it's straight built, looks like it's straight painted, stuff like that." Well, you find out that his brother had been sick, and his brother built his suits that he fought with. Well, he had been fighting with this Destiny Gundam, and to show how strong the opponent was, and the opponent was going to be for the episode, they put him up against another team first, so you could see his power and you could see how he fought and stuff like that. And the opposing team spit out the line, "Know your place, snap fit." And apparently this didn't really sit right with a lot of people, and a lot of people are kind of taking this one way, and a lot of people are taking it another way. I think it's kind of funny, personally, and first of all, I think one of the biggest reasons the line was used in the show is because it's been pre-established since the first Gundam Build Fighter series that there's two things that affect a Gunpla's performance in the Gundam Build Fighters universe. One of those things being the pilot itself. The pilot's abilities has a direct influence on how strong the mobile suit is. Obviously, somebody who has had more experience on the battlefield and has had more experience battling is going to most likely fare better than somebody who has just stepped in for the first battle. It's just a given thing. The second thing that factors in is the quality of the build of the Gunpla, and that goes with cleanup, painting, modifications and stuff like that. And that's what makes the Gundam Build Fighters series shine so much. And then that's why, we see so many new custom Gunpla kits. Now, I don't think Bandai was necessarily taking a stab at anybody in particular. I sort of think, in a way, they might have been taking a stab at the community as a whole, kind of showing how silly it is for people out there who display elitism no matter what side of the fence you're on. Believe it or not, I have seen elitist snap fitters. I don't understand it. Whatever. Now, before I get any farther into this, I just want to say my stance on this is completely neutral. You might want to pardon my language here. I don't give a shit what you build. I really don't care. If you put out decent work, if you enjoy the hobby and you're genuinely happy, who cares what anybody else thinks? It really, really does not matter. Simple as that. If you want to snap fit your kits, go right ahead. Be my guest. If you want to spend 60, 70, 100 hours, on a kit, once again, there's nothing wrong with that. Your choice, your time management, your money, whatever. Now, personally, I'm still fairly new to this hobby. I got involved the same way 90% of early adopters from America did, through Gundam Wing. Kits were made available locally through Walmart stores and stuff like that. We could buy kits in just about any sort of store that sold toys and model kits. I picked them up when I was very young, but I never had any tools or anything like that, so all my kits were torn off the runners and crudely slapped together, stickered very poorly, never panel lined. Like I said, I didn't have any tools. And they were essentially just toys to me, something I could put together and play with. And as I grew up and as the trend kind of faded away, and I guess video games and things like that became more prevalent in our newer forms of media, we started seeing less and less of that, so I got out of the hobby. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. It just wasn't available to me anymore. So I've come back 2 years ago, roughly, a little more than that now, but and I decided that I wanted an adult hobby. I decided that I wanted to take something that I knew that I enjoyed, and I wanted to do it in a way that I knew that I would be progressing. I wouldn't be just fiddling around with something. So I bought a couple of kits, I snapped them together, I bought some tools, and I snapped them together properly. Well, my first couple kits I did not snap together properly. There's just no way around that. My first kit, I've referenced this a lot. It's a Shaldal custom, I think. It's like the green one. I panel lined it with a Sharpie. I super glued it together. One of the knee joints is backwards. And it looks really bad. But I made it my personal goal that since this is my hobby, this is what I decide that I want to spend my money on, and what I want to do to kind of relieve myself of the stress from the day, is I wanted to take this and treat this like it's an adult thing. And that meant investing money into it, buying tools, learning new techniques, and bettering myself at this hobby. I discovered that the Gunpla scene was basically still alive through YouTube, basically. There was a lot of builders still around when I was kind of getting back into it. Watched a lot of Robert's videos, I watched a lot of Vegeta's videos, I watched a lot of Prime 92's videos. There's a handful of others I don't really remember. Ed, everybody knows Ed. And I saw that this was very much still a thing that was alive. So I knew that there had to be some sort of resource somewhere where I could learn techniques and I could learn things and apply them to my model building. From there I discovered Reddit Gunpla. I met Good Guy Dan, I met Harris, and Big Z, and just things kind of took off from there. But my goal in this hobby was I wanted to, like I said, progress. I wanted something that wasn't going to be, oh look, he's building toys. And I still get that a lot, but I really don't care. Now, I personally think that if you're going to buy a model kit, if you're going to buy and invest money and time into a model kit, meaning if you're going to buy this Gundam kit, you're going to take the time to open this box, you're going to take the time to carefully cut these pieces off and construct this little robot, that I believe that you should invest the proper time into making it look as good as you can. Now, I understand that not everybody has access to paint. I understand that not everybody has a desire to paint, and I understand that sometimes that just doesn't fit into your budget. Whatever. That's your business, not mine. But I do believe that if you aren't investing the proper amount of time into a model kit, you're not doing the model kit justice. I think that you should sand your nubs off. I think that you should try to remove seam lines. I think that you should paint details rather than use stickers. Some people do this, some people don't. But again, Bandai manufactures these models as snap fit model kits. They are meant to snap together to be easy to construct. They're meant to be molded in color to represent their counterpart on the TV show or in the manga that they have been, that they represent. And that is for the ease of use. Some people believe that because these model kits are molded in color, because they come with stickers, and because they snap together, that they don't need to do anything else with them. And this is where I start to disagree. I don't think a model kit's finished until you have painted every detail, until you've done every panel line, until you've applied decals, until you've top coated it, and until it's nicely displayed on a shelf somewhere. It's just my personal belief. If you're going to build something, you should build something. If you want to collect something, maybe I think action figures would be a better alternative. There's action figures of just about every Gundam kit out there. Why not pick up action figures? It's just the way that it just makes more sense to me. Now again, I don't want to discourage anybody from snap fitting, and I have no intentions of telling you that you're wrong for snap fitting. You build what you build because you want to, and you take this hobby as far as you want to. But to me, if I haven't painted my model kit, and I haven't put 110% of my effort into it, then I feel like I've wasted my time. Now, occasionally a model will come along, and I'm content just snapping it up and leaving it at that. Maybe I didn't enjoy the build. Maybe something else grabbed my attention. Whatever. Sometimes I don't finish model kits. That's fine. But 90% of my model kits, 90% of my backlog is going to be painted or is painted. There's the argument of quantity over quality. There's collectors, things of that nature. Yes, you can potentially make more money as a company by manufacturing these things this way, but I also think that it's also dangerous to our hobby to manufacture kits that are too easy to put together. The easier you make the kits to build, the more you hide the seam lines, the less work everybody else has to do, and then essentially nobody puts forth any effort at all. So why bother? People also argue that because there's more snap fitters out there, and this is directed at you, Joe, I watched your video, you said that the snap fitters outnumber painters and things of that nature alike. And while that is true, and while those numbers do matter, and while they do make more money and things like that for the company, I think that, that is, while it's a true thing, and it does essentially print Bandai money that so many people can buy and snap a kit a week, I can snap a kit hastily together in 2 hours maximum for like a high grade kit. But would you use your model kit that you snap together in a day to represent an entire product? No. When Bandai releases a model kit, when Bandai makes a model kit, they send out test copies, people build them, paint them, modify them, and then they send in their pictures, and those are what's used to promote the model kit. People typically don't, in my case anyway, buy model kits because of how they're snapped together. I like to see a nice painted, completed, presentable thing before I commit to a purchase. Now I'm kind of in a gray area here because I don't really watch too many of the series. I've been trying to catch up and stuff like that just so I know what's going on. I can see what else is out there and see how the mobile suits function. But I haven't seen every Gundam series, so I don't know what's what, and I typically don't buy things that I don't find appealing to the eye. Most of my purchases are based solely on the way they look. I buy what I like visually. So, I won't buy. I'll never go out of my way and buy a Cubily model because I think the Cubily is ugly. I don't care how cool it was in the show. I just don't like it. But the EZ-8 is my favorite Gundam, and a lot of people think that that's a really ugly mobile suit. I think it looks really cool. It's just preference. Just like this whole debate that's going on. But again, it's just the way that I think is I feel that if you're going to build something, you should make it presentable. That way it represents this hobby in a different way. Now I'm going to use that argument to kind of segue to a more serious topic, is I think that a lot of times snap fitters sort of hurt the hobby in some ways. And that's not to say that, again, snap fitting isn't a bad thing. These models are manufactured to do that, so there's no way around that. But Gunpla is kind of frowned upon in the modeling world as a whole. It's kind of a joke because the models snap fit together, and because there's so many people out there who snap fit the models together and are content with that. It's really, really insulting to pour a lot of time into something and it to just be laughed at because of what it is, rather than it to be analyzed like it were any other model kit. If you take Gundam kits to most IPMS shows, they'll laugh in your face because they're snap fit models, and because they don't represent something in real life, and because you can't apply real life modeling techniques to something that doesn't have a real life counterpart. And that's entirely not true. Gunpla, even though it is snap fit and it's easier than putting together a car model or putting together a tank or an airplane, and you don't have to do as much work to get a nice looking final product, you can pour just as much effort into a Gundam kit as you can a car. Are there many people out there who do that? No, not really, but they're out there. And more often than not, their work is more appreciated than people who will snap a kit together. How many times have you gone in a group on Facebook and seen the newest kit? The Sazabi, for example, was the big kit last year. The unicorns coming out, the PG unicorn. How many groups are you going to go in and see a snap-built unicorn Gundam, perfect grade, and go, hey guys, how does this look? And it's going to look just like every other snap-built unicorn, because nobody painted it, nobody took the care to remove the seam lines, nobody took the time to put any mods in. It's going to be 99% saturation of snap-built kits. And when people mass up like that, and you see such a movement of people that are content just snap fitting a model, but then they ask how it looks like every other snap built unicorn. It's no different. And that's what I like about painting and modifying and working into this custom stuff, is that I can take something, and even if I paint it in the same colors that the box displays, it's my own, because I put my own twist on it somehow. It's got my personal touch. And that's what I've been trying to do since I started with this hobby, is even if I paint a kit out of box, I want people to look at it and go, that's Justin's. He's the one who did that. And, I don't see anything wrong with snap fitting. And I don't see anything wrong with painting. This hobby is designed to cater to everybody. And I think that's why Bandai is so successful. Now, as for elitism, like I said, I've seen elitists on both sides of the debate. I've seen people that will argue to the end of days that because the model snap fit, they don't have to paint it, they shouldn't have to paint it, and that they'd rather see a kit come with stickers than water slides. They're completely content with tri-transfers and stickers. And then there's the people who who do like to invest the time into their model kits, and they kind of get the short end of the stick here because stickers are easier to use, but they don't look as good on a painted kit. I mean, they don't look as good on a bare plastic surface either, but, you know, you can argue that all day. But then there's also people who look down on people who don't paint their kits. And I think that this is wrong just as much as the other. Just because you paint a kit doesn't make you any better. I've seen plenty of painted kits that look awful. I've seen plenty of painted kits that look phenomenal. And there's millions and millions in between. Just because you paint your kit doesn't mean you're any better than anybody else. Just because you snap fit your kit doesn't mean you're any better than anybody else. You're building a model, and you take it as far as you want to go with it. As for trolling, it's going to happen. I'm sure that I'm going to get plenty of those on this video. I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of those on my posts in the future. And, you know, whatever. I don't care. I welcome you. But I don't know, it's just, I don't like the idea of looking down on somebody because they don't do something the same way that I do it. I put tutorial videos out so people can see how I do it, and so that questions get answered, but that doesn't mean that I believe that you should do things the way that I do. It's just me providing another reference for the people out there who want to know how to do something. And I've taken a lot from this community in the short time that I've been involved in it. So I wanted to pour something with my own personal touch out into it. Nothing that I do I think is the right or wrong way. It's just the way that I do things. And that's the way that I try to convey everything that I do in this hobby. I also believe that there's elitism amongst each of these groups. Within these groups. There's painted builders that pick on and harass other painted builders. You know, this isn't really the same thing, but a lot of people have been asking, well, they have asked, they haven't so much anymore, but the reason that I'm not a part of Team Nexus anymore was sort of relates to this, is we did our 1-year anniversary build. I was a part of Team Nexus since the beginning. I was invited to join the group build. The group build was Easy 8s, and I did my Easy 8 Tempest. I spent a good amount of time cleaning and prepping the kit, and then I kind of sat it aside for a little while, worked on some other projects, and then when the deadline approached, I started working on it again. Well, when I sent my final photos in, TR13, who is the leader of Team Nexus essentially, he handles all the submissions and then sends them off, and then from there I guess it's some complicated series of tubes that it goes through, and it ends up on the other side of the internet where it's presented. But he messaged me and said that my kit wasn't good enough. Mind you, I participated in promoting the Team Nexus page. I participated in, you know, posting my work on their behalf, but because he saw one nub mark that I had not completely sanded down, my work was not good enough. Mind you, I had done all the other prep work. I modified the seams, I removed seams, I did custom work on the kit, I did a custom paint job, I shaded, the whole 9 yards. But because one nub mark was shown through on my kit, it wasn't good enough to be displayed with my teammates at the time. And then he sort of added a little bit of insult to injury and decided to say that I was suspended from the team until I put out better work. And this to me rubbed me the wrong way, because I didn't join Team Nexus to be a part of some exclusive club. I joined Team Nexus because I was asked to join Team Nexus, and it seemed like a fun thing to do. I wanted to be more active in the community, as I always do, and I wanted to display my work proudly alongside other modelers, you know, of my skill level or beyond. And, you know, it kind of hurt that I invested hours of time into a model kit to be told that it wasn't good enough, and that because my work was so not good enough that I was on suspension from the team. Meanwhile, there's other members of the team, I'm not going to say any names, who had left visible seam lines on their Easy 8 kit, visible nub marks on their Easy 8 kit, and lots of masking errors and things of that nature on their Easy 8 kit, but they could still participate. And I didn't understand why, and I questioned this, but I never got an answer. I wasn't allowed to participate for the same thing that somebody else was. So what was the difference? And to me, that is elitism and favoritism. So I resigned from Team Nexus, and that was the end of it. But it shouldn't have come to that. I'm not upset about it. I wish no ill will on any of them. But, it was just kind of a crappy experience. Now, this is kind of the same thing that's going on in groups when somebody tells somebody that their kit isn't good enough because they haven't built it to X standard. You're kind of isolating individuals, and you're putting someone down for enjoying something that they enjoy and taking it as far as they want to, as far as they can. You don't know everybody's circumstance. You don't understand everything that person has to necessarily go through to build that kit. Maybe they can't paint because they live at home. Maybe they don't have the money to afford paint. Maybe they live with siblings or parents or something like that, and they don't have an area to paint. Just because someone doesn't paint their models doesn't mean they're beneath you. It doesn't make it any less annoying to see the same 48 kits posted over and over and over again. It doesn't matter. If you don't like the posts, unsubscribe from the group. If you don't like to see the posts, ignore that user. There's plenty of ways to circumvent this, and I think that as a whole, we should try and get along because we're a small enough community as it is. I think that we should be trying harder to grow as a community. I think that we should try harder to better ourselves as model builders, and I think that we should try and better ourselves as a community. I think that the more effort we put forth in unifying this community and working together and helping one another improve is going to be one step closer to the big model builders out there taking us a little bit more seriously. And that's what I think the big picture here is that we should focus on enjoying this hobby. Whether you snap build models or paint them, it doesn't matter. Don't bully each other. Bullying isn't really the term, but don't pick on one another. Don't harass people out of groups. It's not going to stop here. I'm not going to stop this. I can't stop this. It's going to happen. But, just try to be a good person. That's it. Whether you snap build, whether you paint, it doesn't really matter to me. Like I said, I'm in the middle of this. I enjoy the hobby for the reason that I enjoy it. You enjoy the hobby for the reason that you enjoy it. I'm not going to harass anybody because they do any different. So, that's all I got. Hopefully you sat through this and enjoyed it, I guess. I'm really curious to hear any kind of feedback anybody has. If anybody has any strong feelings about any of this, leave me a comment below. You can message me on Facebook. You can message me on whatever. I have literally like every social media platform you can find me on. So if you have anything that you want to say to me, feel free to say it wherever, however. And I look forward to hearing what you guys think about this. So hopefully I hear a little something. So I'll see you guys with some more work in progress videos soon. I'm wrapping up the Wing Zero and some other stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.